Hello and welcome. I'm Ari Lax, and this week we have some new standard coming up. So, kicking off with the fun stuff because there's a lot of decks that you've seen a fair amount of before. You know, a lot of Winding Stricter, a lot of Scarab God with Rogue Refiner, a lot of Mono Red. But there's been a few things popping up that haven't quite been as expected, and this is one of them. And this deck is Abzan Tokens. This deck first 5-0'd a league, probably, I want to say, it was pretty early on in the format, a couple days in. And then it went 6-2 in the online PTQ. Two players went 6-2 with it in the online PTQ last weekend. Popped up twice in the 5-0 league lists that were released on Tuesday, the day I'm recording this. And it's kind of interesting. So this is kind of the evolution of the Sam Black style nonsense decks from last season. So instead of having a lot of the Cryptolith Rite, Ulvenwald Mystery style stuff going on with the Anointed Processions, there's a lot more control elements. So you'll see actually just loading up on removal. I want to say the analogy is more like the black-white control decks of 2 seasons ago. Except for instead of Planeswalkers, you have this slightly less clunky Anointed Procession, Anointed Priest engine. So, true to previous lists, you got Anointed Priest, you got Hidden Stockpile going on, so you just get to churn out additional tokens every turn with Anointed Procession. In addition to those, we've got some new stuff. We've got Legion's Landing. Which, if it gets going with Anointed Procession, just starts cranking out multiple lifelinkers a turn, which is kind of awesome. You have Vraska Relic Seeker is the splash for green in this deck, which is kind of interesting. The card is definitely powerful. I'm interested to see if splashing for green for this specific card is worth it. It does work very well with Anointed Procession. You get double clue, well, with a lot of the stuff in the deck. So let's go down the list. So, cleans up all sorts of random stuff on the minus, but it gives you a treasure on the minus, which is doubled by Anointed Procession, so that if you have a Procession, you can Vraska and something else in the turn. Or if you have a stockpile, you can sack that to revolt the stockpile. Great. The plus makes a pirate, which gets doubled. Great. And then the minus 10 is just like a quick, like winning semi-quickly is relevant. And it's a way to easily win installed board states, which this deck is pretty capable of creating. And then the other weird oddball cards are Argol's Bloodfast, which is just a way to turn your exorbitant amounts of life with Anointed Priest into cards that you can do other stuff with. As well as if it transforms, a way to kind of start going off with Anointed Priest, Anointed Procession. So if you have a Priest in play, you can sack it to the temple and then return it, and then everything goes crazy. It also lets you ramp in various matchups. It's a little risky, but depending on the matchup, it's not a huge deal to go lower on life, and you can regain a lot of it. And then Anoketra the True is kind of just an additional finisher. Removal-wise, we have Fatal Push, obviously just the best option, cheapest one. Cast Out, you do have to kill Planeswalkers and Hazarets, though the one match I've played with this deck so far that didn't turn out so well. I drew the half of the deck that is not the life gain cards against Mono Red. Not so fun. We got Renegade Maps to trigger Stockpile. There's a lot of mana in the deck between all the transform cards and everything, so I'm interested to see if it has flood issues even with Stockpile churning. And then you'll notice among the lands, you're pretty heavy on deserts, allowing you to trigger Hidden Stockpile. I'm kind of wondering if there's not too few black sources in the deck to activate if near dead lands. I definitely had that issue in the round I played where I didn't draw a Concealed Courtyard early, so it's hard for me to get to double black to activate dead lands. You need to draw like multiple dead lands, which is not the greatest way to go around and do that, but we'll see. I guess you only need the 2 swamps, and the basic planes are more important in casting your spells. Flipping over to the sideboard. And just for the record, this is the list. One of the people that 6-2'd the PTQ was someone who had 5-0'd previously with it, so I copied their list. I'm basically opposed to playing the Gideon of the Trials in the other list, just on principle, because that card I think is trash. Just like Not like in the format, just like a trash Magic card in general. I don't think it's playable anywhere after trying it in many places. Um, and then the other lists, I kind of just like the smoothness of this list a little more. So we got Angel of Sanctions as additional sideboard threat. I think I may have underboarded these against red because I think exiling their Hazoret's pretty important. Um, there's Authority of the Consuls to answer red. There's a Treasure Map as a grind you card, a way to pull ahead. You got Duresses against control, and then Lost Legacy against a bunch of stuff. Naming, Approach to the Second Sun KOs a lot of the control decks. There's still like rando combo decks running around that people will play, even though this doesn't hit some of the artifact stuff. You can kind of take out a lot of their other functionality. So I'm kind of excited to play more games with this deck. Maybe draw the right half of my deck against mono red. Maybe play against some more mid-rangey stuff, and just kind of see where it goes.